Do you love Easter candy as much as I do? Today we're making a homemade version of Reese's peanut butter eggs. These are so simple, no baking, just a few ingredients and beyond delicious. Hey, you're watching Preppy Kitchen, where I, John Cannell, teach you how to make delicious homemade dishes to share with your family and friends. These peanut butter eggs are gonna hop right into your mouth, so let's get started. First off, let's make that peanut butter filling. It is so easy and delicious. All right, 1 cup of smooth peanut butter. And when you're using peanut butter, use one that is not the all natural separated out if you can, because those ones will not mix as smoothly. You kind of want the regular processed peanut butters that they have like some palm oil and emulsifiers in them, and they're gonna give you a really nice smooth filling. When Brian and I were growing up in separate households, we would always have pretty crazy Easter baskets. Our moms went all out. So for the boys, we are making a full Easter basket that will include these chocolate peanut butter eggs. I'm so excited to see their faces light up. I will have to hide these where they can't find them. Okay, 1 cup in, and now we're gonna add in 5 tablespoons of room temperature unsalted butter. Normally, I would say like, okay, you could use salted butter, but in this recipe, you're gonna wanna have unsalted because that peanut butter is salty. Plop that right in there. Use your paddle attachment, and we're gonna cream it up. Pop it down, and we're going to mix it up, just cream it together. That is already delicious. One of my favorite snacks as a child was toast with butter and then peanut butter on top. That is the business. So right now we're gonna scrape the bottom of the bowl down. Whenever you're making a peanut butter filling, it is like so easy. However, the one thing that can mess you up is if you do not scrape the bowl down, you're gonna have like a thinner, smoother, creamier layer on top with a thicker layer on the bottom, and that's not what you want. So, scrape it down. If you have a peanut allergy, by the way, you could totally do this with almond butter as well, or cashew butter. Any nut butter will work pretty well. All right, now it's time for the powdered sugar. This does 2 things. It sweetens it to make it delicious, but it also stiffens it up because this is pretty gloopy right now. Like you can see, this is not gonna be fun to roll or will not hold its shape either. So we're calling for 2 cups of powdered sugar, but if you want, you can reduce that a bit or increase it a bit. It's partially to taste and to feel. We have 2 cups of sugar in there. Let's pop this down and mix. Carefully. Don't explode. So you mix it a bit and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a crumbly mess, what's going on? Well, scrape that bowl down and everything will be okay. So you're like, what is this? Crumbles? No. We want a nice smooth mixture. But then you scrape it down on the bottom, it's like pure peanut butter and butter. Okay, we scraped that bowl down. I'm gonna add some vanilla in and see, is 2 cups just right? Let's give it a try. Turn it on, add about a teaspoon. So just be patient and let it come together. That powdered sugar is very deceptive. It's like nothing's happening, it happened. So it'll happen, just keep mixing. Okay, a little bit of mixing later, if you see that your mixture is still a bit too crumbly, you can add in some water. And it's kind of like making pastry dough, by the way. So here it's like, oh, what are this, crumbles? But if you put it together, it will form something you can mold. This looks a tad bit dry, so I'm gonna add in just a bit of water. Various peanut butters will have various levels of moisture, so you can adjust accordingly. Run it on low and add in that water about a tablespoon at a time. And that 1 tablespoon made all the difference. I'm gonna work it up to medium now, just so it kind of comes together more, really slapping that peanut butter around. And now here we go. This is perfect. It looks nice and smooth already. And when you feel it in your hands, it's like silky Play-Doh. Perfect. Okay, we're ready to mold. You'll want to pinch off little bits of the dough. I'm actually measuring them and they're exactly 24 grams each, but that's me. You could do whatever you want. You could have big eggs, small eggs, they could all be different sizes, or if you want them to be the same size, you can use a scale or really eyeball it. This is the size of like, I don't know, a nice marble? I can't tell. Anyways, roll it in your hands. Roll. It should be forming like a nice kind of like smooth ball in your hands. If it's cracking a lot, it needs another drop or two of water. Go ahead and mix it up. There is no shame in that game. Anyways, roll, roll, roll into a spherical shape. Place it onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper or naked. The parchment paper is just for easy cleanup, so it's no worries if you don't want to use it. Smush it down with your hand. Smush, smush, smush. It'll crack a little bit at the edges, but that's okay. And then you're gonna manipulate it into an egg shape. Does not have to be perfect as it will be covered with chocolate, but you know, you can finagle things a bit. Use my fingers to kind of like clip it into an egg shape on top. And that one is ready to go. As you move along, just kind of place them some distance apart. You see, as you squish it together in your hands, it becomes a nice, solid, non-crumbly shape. You're also warming the peanut butter and the butter up, which helps it to be more malleable and less cracky. This smells amazing, by the way. I actually love Reese's peanut butter cups. My dad would bring one home every night as a special treat when he came back from work. Maybe not every night, but it seemed like almost every night. So they bring back fond memories, but making them from scratch is so easy and even more delicious. You really realize like, oh, this tastes good. A little sugar and nice peanut butter. So pat, 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 pat. If you do have an egg-shaped cookie cutter, hooray, this is gonna be so easy for you. All you have to do is get that whole batch of peanut butter filling, roll it out. You could do it in between two pieces of parchment paper if you want. Pop it into the fridge to set, and then cut those eggs out, and they'll be totally perfect and amazing. But if you don't, we're doing it this way. My eggs are all shaped up. I'm quite happy with them. And as one final bit of advice, if you're having a little bit of trouble, you want to do a little bit of final modeling, wash your hands, you dirty animal. Just kidding. Wash your hands and then leave them a little bit damp. Tap, 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 and that moisture will really help you smooth things out. These are ready to go into the fridge to chill. I'll be leaving them here for like an hour or two. I'm gonna go make dinner, do some dad stuff, and when I come back, it's time for the chocolate, the best part. All right, be right back. You're gonna use 2 cups of chocolate, and I'm using semi-sweet, but you could use bittersweet, you could use milk chocolate, you could even use white chocolate if you're a glutton for punishment. White chocolate is not easy to melt and use for dipping. I'm warning you in advance. Okay, 2 cups. So you could just melt the chocolate, but what we're gonna do is add in just a hair's breadth under 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. You could also use shortening. I'm not living that shortening life though, so it's coconut oil for me. These oils will basically let the chocolate be a little bit more thin and melty and perfect for dipping. So just drizzle that in. You have 2 options. You could use a double boiler, so place this over a small pot of simmering water, or you can pop it into the microwave, which is what I'll be doing today. If you're using a microwave, remember it's short bursts of power, low power. So I usually go to 50%, 30 seconds, stir and repeat until it's almost all melted. Don't try and melt all the chocolate, even if you're using a double boiler. Get it to be almost all melted and then take it off heat. Stir a couple times and that residual heat will complete the melting process. Very important, otherwise your chocolate could burn. All right, into the microwave. Several 30-second bursts in the microwave later at half power, it's all nice and melty. I wanna point out just one more time that when I took it out of the microwave the last time, there were still tons of chunks of chocolate that were not melted, but just a little bit of stirring and time did the trick. That residual heat will finish the job for you. Don't burn your chocolate. All right, I just want you to take a look. Look at this, nice and silky, so perfect. And it could totally cool down a little bit. You can let it come closer to room temperature for dipping, or you could dip it right away. But this looks amazing. Okay, my little peanut butter eggs are all chilled and much firmer, and now we're gonna dip them. So this is the only part where you're gonna use a little bit of ingenuity. You can dip them totally in there, but that could get a little bit messy. So I think I'm gonna try a couple different ways. A little offset spatula here, and I'm going to place it right over the chocolate and then spoon it over. So let's see how that goes. And then you can just tap, tap, tap. Because you want to get rid of some of the excess chocolate. Now I'm using 2 skewers Try it a different way. Impale your egg. Okay, using a fork, spoon some chocolate over that egg. Then you're going to remove some excess from the side if you need to. Okay, now we're gonna tap the egg on the bowl. This will help us remove some excess chocolate. Swipe across the bottom, get all that extra chocolate off. Now we're gonna place our egg back onto our baking sheet. There we go. Very nice. Repeat that process, and if needed, you can warm your chocolate up a bit. As it cools down, it'll thicken up and make the whole dipping process more difficult. So feel free to give it a little bit of a warm up if it starts getting kind of gloopy. You want it nice and thin. While you're dipping your chocolate eggs, you can of course sprinkle delicious and festive things on them. I'm using some confetti sprinkles, just lightly sprinkle the surface while they're still wet. But you can totally do anything else you want. I'm gonna do a drizzle of milk chocolate on some of these because I love the contrast of the lighter chocolate on the darker chocolate. Just melt a few tablespoons of milk chocolate chips, add it into a piping bag or regular sandwich bag, and snip the tip off. You could use a smaller round tip like a number 3 or 4 if you like, but I don't wanna do any more washing up. Rake across the surface and create a zigzag pattern, and it's that easy. All done. Continue and decorate as many as you'd like. I think that a classic, just straight dip in chocolate looks beautiful, if you're asking. So I might have had one super busted egg because the chocolate got too cool, but that means that I can taste it on camera for you and not feel bad about it not going into the boys' Easter basket. If you like this recipe, check out my Easter playlist. All of my favorite Easter recipes, including some ultra cute cupcakes and dazzling cakes. But now it's time for a bite. That's so nice. I didn't temper the chocolate, which you probably could tell, but it still has a little bit of a crunch to it, and that peanut butter is on point, perfectly sweet. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next Easter video.